Check it out. Today we got Raiders of Scythia.
That's right. It is a 1 to 4 player game published by Garfield Games and designed by Shim Phillips. We've got some really interesting components out here on the board, and the board itself is really interesting as well.
Oh, and by the way, I'm Jody.
I'm Justin.
And yeah, so this game, you are going to be Raiders of Scythia. You're going to be collecting supplies and animals for your crew, and then you're going to be going out on raids. There's different areas of the board where you're going to be raiding, fulfilling quests, taking plunder, and all kinds of good stuff. So let's do a quick overview of how to play, and we'll meet you back up at the top. Alrighty, so here is an overview of what the game looks like all set up. So in this game, you're going to be trying to gain victory points by raiding settlements, taking plunder, completing different quests, and you're going to be assembling a crew and training animals and gathering provisions. So that's kind of the overview of the game. Now let's do a quick overview of the setup. So you're going to have, excuse me, depending on what player account you got, I've got this set up for 2-player, so we're only going to be setting up on this part of the board because this is 3+ and 4+. And on each section, it's going to show you what color meeple to put out and how many plunder to put on each of these quest tiles that you're going to put face down on these spots. So, and this is done randomly. The game comes with a bag where you're going to put all of these little resources into the bag, mix it up, and put them on different locations all throughout the board here. And then you got these 3 blue guys starting up here, and you got a lot of different resources. So you got all this plunder, you got wounds, provisions, these kumis, and you got these cool pretty dice, you got coins, lots of stuff. You're going to put out the animal card to the side, and you've got these other cards over here. And then each player is actually going to have their own player board, which will look like this here. And everyone's going to start with a special hero, which gives them a special ability. And they will have a starting crew member as well. And some starting supplies and a starting worker, for them as well. And also some starting cards. So basically everybody is just going to be taking turns back and forth. And what you're going to be doing is choosing either to work or raid. Now, working is going to be up here, and raiding is going to be for these different little empires. You got Greece, Persia, and some other ones. So on your turn, what you're going to do is you're going to be placing out your worker. So everybody starts with a blue worker. So let's say we're going to start out here because we need to gather resources and such. So what you're going to do is you're going to place your worker. You're going to take the action of that location where you just placed your worker, and then you're going to pick up a worker. So I'll take this worker, and then I'll take the action of that location there. So this game, you're always placing a worker and then taking a worker. So if I went down here to raid, I would do the raiding stuff, I place my worker, and then I would be picking up a worker as well. So in the village, you got a bunch of places where you can do work actions. So here, this is the only 2 places on this area where you can only place a worker if it's gray or red. So the stables, this is where you can turn in some money and get an eagle and put it with your crew, or in equipment, turn it in and get a horse. Now once you get an eagle or a horse, you're going to place it with your crew. So now horses are going to be slid under your player board like this, so where the eagle is not visible. Now there are these 5 different slots here where you're going to be putting your crew members. Now you can put your horse in association with a crew that's already there, or you can put him anywhere else, but in order to be used, he has to be tagged on with a crew member you already have. Same thing with eagle, you can put him anywhere, but you're going to slide them up top. And these typically give you like extra strength or victory points and stuff like that. Some eagles, however, let me see if I can find one real quick, will give you something like this here where it's 2 times, and it's going to be 2 times this special ability that you can do with that card. So there's just different things like that. Next up, we got the Chief's Tent, where you can turn in livestock to get some supplies, or you can do a quest. Any face-up quest on the board, it starts with 2, and then as you do some raiding, some more will get flipped over. And you just satisfy the quest to get victory points for at the end of the game. Now if you go to the barracks, this is where you can hire a crew and put him on your player board, but you gotta pay for him, of course, with the cost and the side of the card. And then you can turn in a Kumi and remove 2 wounds from your crew, kind of heal them up. This is where you can turn in or place a worker to get more money. Here you can get provisions or possibly a wagon. Here you can discard some cards to get wagon equipment or money. This is also a place where you can draw cards or draw a card and get 2 Kumis. And lastly, you can go to the town center and you can do 1 of 3 things. You can play a card from your hand, which means you'll be discarding this card but taking this action here. So this would allow me to gain 1 wagon. So you would discard that. Or you can do this little flag symbol. I don't remember what it's called, but everybody's hero that they start with will have this special ability. So if I wanted to take this action, I could. But if I did, this would gain 4 Kumi and 1 provision. And then also some eagles have that same flag symbol, and this would allow you to activate this right side ability if this is in your crew on your player board. So if you decide to raid on your turn, there are some requirements you have to meet before you do that. So let's say we wanted to go to Assyria and raid. There are requirements for these different settlements here. So first, you have to be able to place 1 of these color workers. So if I had a blue, obviously that would satisfy that. This is the size of crew you have to have in order to even go here. And then you have to pay the cost. So this would be 4 provisions. So now what you're going to do is you're going to focus on this part above this. This is where you're going to need to determine your strength, and it's important to know that you can always turn in 1 Kumi to have a temporary strength. So 1 for 1 right there. And then you're going to add up all your strength, and you're going to be rolling also depending on what location you are. So right now we're in Assyria, so I'm going to get a red and white die. Oops. And then if you have per tile that has a gold on it in that settlement, you have to add a gold die as well. So then you would roll those dice, and then the numbers on here are going to be a total, or a number that's going to be added to your strength, so it's going to increase your strength. And anytime you roll these wounds, you got to grab all those wounds and put them on your crew member. Now, if you had less than 10 strength total after doing this raid, then you would actually have to get 2 more wounds. But if you had 10 or more, but not more than 16, you would get 2 victory points, and 16 or more, you get 4 victory points. So let's say we had 16 strength, so we move up on the victory point track by 4, and then at this point you would choose which place you wanted to take the plunder. So let's just say we want to take this here. So you would pick up this worker, then you would take this plunder and put it in your personal play area as and also with the worker. Then you're going to flip over this quest tile, which is now available to be achieved. So whenever you place wounds, you're going to be putting them on your crew members. Okay, and what this is going to do is it's actually going to reduce their strength. So for instance, this guy has a strength of 4, but with 2 wounds, that's going to mean he only has a strength of 2. Now, it is possible for your crew to be killed. So if this dude had 4 wounds on there, and then he were to take another wound, right now his strength is at 0. But if he were to take another wound, obviously he can't go below 0, so he is actually going to be killed and removed from your player board. So that is a way to lose your crew. So players are just going to keep taking turns back and forth, choosing to work or raid until the end of the game. And the end of the game is triggered by if there's only 2 quests left or 2 raid spaces. Now, we had a little bit of confusion about the in-game trigger. In the rulebook it says 2 settlements, but I looked on the forum and the designer, Shem, said it was actually supposed to be 2 raid spaces. So instead of like a settlement, believe it's supposed to be 2 raid spaces. And there's different ways you can get points. So you're going to, obviously throughout the game, you're going to be getting points from raiding and such. But you're also going to get points for your different, the plunder. So for instance, on each player board, there's a little summary of what you will be getting. So per gold, you get 2 victory points, equipment 1, and so on. And then you'll be getting some crew members let you get victory points on their abilities. And then different animals, so a horse or eagle might give you victory points as well. And finally, you can get victory points through completing quests throughout the game.
Alright, so that was Raiders of Scythia. So, there are a lot of things that I actually really, really like about this game. I thought the way that they do worker placement was really interesting because you actually drop one off to pick another one up. And I know that you guys saw that during the game, and I thought that that was just a really different way of doing worker placement. I like that whenever you place somebody in the Scythian village, that you can take that action of the one that you place, but then you can also take the action of the one that you pick up too. So you get 2 different actions for that. And then obviously I like how, you know, when you take one color, sometimes that limits where you can go with that King Kong is about to arrive. So sometimes that you know, determines where you can go with your next worker. So I thought that was a really interesting way of doing it.
Yeah, because like, you know, on the top raids, you can use blue and gray workers, and then as you get further along, you can only place gray or gray and red workers. So it's kind of interesting how the game plays throughout. I enjoyed it as well, for sure. I definitely like to play this one more often, and you know, I like components, so there's a lot of fun little goodies in this game, and the metal coins are a huge bonus. Yeah, so I enjoy it. But we played with some friends, and they kind of felt like it dragged out a little bit toward the end, which it kind of did a little bit.
A little bit, because it is kind of the exact same thing. You go here, you go there. You go here, you go there.
Yeah, so like toward the end, they felt like it was dragging out a little bit. I can see that. But I mean, I still enjoy playing it. I really like, I don't know, I love your player board, and I love that you can have the animal. I love the animals. You have your eagles up top and the horses, and you know, some of them will increase your strength to go on raids. And then, you know, depending on your different heroes, will give you different, it's like a variable player power. On one game, I had a hero that let me trade in, I can't remember, 2 resources to like get a horse. So I just stocked up on horses, and it just looks so cool having all like my crew members and then my horses, and you throw in some eagles in there. It's just fun, and it's fun because I'm like, okay, I just went on a raid. I got wounds on my crew. I need to go back to the Scythian village and heal my crew, gather supplies, and then go raid again. So I really like that. It's like gearing up for battle, and yeah, and then, you know, you have some dice rolling in this game. The dice are cool, by the way. I like the dice.
Yeah, they look good.
So depending on which location you go, like you saw in the overview, you know, you roll different dice and get wounds and stuff. So that's just, I've really enjoyed this game.
Yep, I did too. So it was one that sometimes I may not like this kind of stuff, but for this, you know, I think this one worked pretty well for me. And while it did drag out just a little bit at the end, I would still come back and play this game.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's a good one. So I know Garfield Games and Shem Phillips, you know, they've done like, you know, Paladins, Viscount, you know, the West Kingdom, like other stuff like that. Do you like this one? But you probably like this one better than some of those, because this one feels a little bit easier.
Yes.
Than like Viscounts, for instance. You played Viscounts.
Yes. Yeah. I preferred this one.
It is a little easier to kind of grasp.
It was a little bit easier for me to grasp. I was just more ready and willing to play this one a second time compared to the other ones. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that is our review of Raiders of Scythia. That comes with some fun components. Woohoo! So those are our thoughts. So let us know in the comments below if you play this game, what you think about it. What other games do you like from Shem Phillips, the designer, and Garfield Games? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, if you want to help us out, go ahead and hit that that like button, the like button, and subscribe if you want to see what more reviews and stuff that we do.
That's right.
And weird videos that we put out. So, who knows? So thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, adios.
See ya.
All right, guys. Oh, that was too loud. Yo, check it out.
All right. Let's go.